welcome to Your World. I'm Diayu Fadila and let's begin our first segment. Before we take you through a variety of stories, in our first segment, let us begin with a topic covering on the 42nd ASEAN Summit, which will be held in Labuan Bajo, and another story from China. Let's take a look.
Spokesman of the Indonesian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Teuku Faizasyah, says Indonesia is committed to achieve the targeted three pillars of its 2023 chairmanship in ASEAN. Faizasyah says under the first pillar, namely ASEAN Matters, Indonesia has prepared the Great Vision of ASEAN 2045 and is discussing the draft declaration of ASEAN leaders on strengthening ASEAN institutional capacity and effectiveness. The draft declaration is expected to be adopted in the upcoming 42nd ASEAN Summit. In regards with the first pillar, Foreign Minister Retno Marsudi has emphasized a number of issues that must be included in the discussion, such as the negotiation on the text of the Code of Conduct or COC, the eradication of human trafficking, the institutional strengthening for human rights dialogue in ASEAN, the drafting of roadmap for Timor-Leste's membership in ASEAN, and the signing of the Southeast Asia Nuclear Weapon-Free Zone Protocol. As for the second pillar, namely the epicentrum of growth, a number of priority topics have been discussed, such as in strengthening the health architecture through One Health initiative, strengthening the food and energy security, including the development of electric vehicle ecosystem. ASEAN member countries have also been committed on the issue of ASEAN common currency in trade transactions and payment mechanism connectivity in the region in an attempt to strengthen regional financial stability. As for the third pillar, namely the implementation of the ASEAN Outlook on the Indo-Pacific, Retno has emphasized on the strengthening of concrete AOIP cooperation based on principles of inclusivity, economic cooperation, and economic development. Indonesia will host a flagship event of the ASEAN Indo-Pacific Forum to discuss the above topic.
Agency head Dwi Korita Karnawati said Indonesia has shown its international level leadership by hosting many leading events last year, such as the G20 summit in Bali, the MotoGP Mandalika in Lombok, as well as the Formula One powerboat in Lake Toba of North Sumatra. And next week, Indonesia will host another important event, the 42nd ASEAN Summit in Labuan Bajo of East Nusa Tenggara. Dwi Korita said BMKG will fully support the event so the summit can go well thoroughly. She said the agency will install several equipment to monitor and to detect potential earthquake. BMKG will also prepare an early warning system for potential forest and land fires, extreme weather, extreme waves, and potential tsunamis throughout the ASEAN Summit area. BMKG, along with other institutions such as the Disaster Mitigation Office, the National Science Agency, the military, national police, and provincial administrations, has also arranged mitigation plans in case of emergency like natural disaster. The Weather Agency is appointed and has served as the ASEAN Earthquake Information Center since 2000. Further, BMKG supports the ASEAN Coordinating Center for Humanitarian Assistance and Disaster Management, or AHA Center, and backs the mission to set up the ASEAN Coordinating Center for Transboundary Haze and Pollution Control, or ACCTHPC.
China and Mongolia will continue to support each other on some of the biggest issues facing the two countries, and Beijing is ready to deepen cooperation with Mongolia on projects tied to the Belt and Road Initiative as well as the mining industry. In response, Mongolian Foreign Minister Batmunk Batsetag backed the One China principle, describing China's position on Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Tibet as domestic issues. She also expressed support for the Global Development Initiative proposed by Chinese President Xi Jinping and said Mongolia is ready and willing to redefine its bilateral relationship with China.
China on Monday started the drilling of the Yuejin 33, Asia's deepest oil and gas well so far, in northwest China's Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region using advanced drilling tools. The well, located in Sayat County of Xinjiang's Aksu Prefecture, on the edge of China's largest desert known as the Taklamakan Desert, is designed to be drilled to a depth of 9,472 meters in 170 days. The ultra-deep drilling project, known as Deep Earth, is a key oil and natural gas project launched by China's energy and chemical giant Sinopec. On Monday morning, Sinopec's engineers were busy assembling the drilling equipment on an oil and gas drilling rig at the well site. The drilling rig is equipped with a yellow-colored top drive, a mechanical device that provides clockwise torque to the drill strings to drill boreholes. The drill strings, each measuring 10 meters in length and joined end to end, will advance deep into the ground to reach the designated area. When everything was ready, engineers inside the driller room, equipped with dashboards and all sorts of advanced equipment, started operation to lower the drilling bit to drill through the ground. The engineers said the drilling bit will pass through the upper soft formation and reach the hard rock formation within a few hours. The Yuejin 33, which falls into the category of the super deep well, is even hundreds of meters more than the height of Mount Homolangma, known to the west as Mount Everest.
It is heartbreaking to see the civil war that is happening in Sudan, a nation that is currently facing tough challenges such as economic struggles and political instabilities. In our next segment, we will share stories from the unrest happening there. And also the Indonesian embassy had already been moved from the ravaged capital Khartoum to Port Sudan. Here are the stories.
Sporadic heavy gunfire could be heard across capital Khartoum as fierce fighting continued between the rival generals. Smoke could be seen rising from the direction of Khartoum International Airport. President Yoon Suk-yeol invited members of military operations that evacuated South Korean nationals from war-torn Sudan to the presidential office and commended their efforts. President Yoon said the military showcased superb capabilities in executing the operation, which he said was possible due to the deep trust and cooperation between Korea and its allies, the US, United Arab Emirates, and Saudi Arabia. Seoul's ambassador to Sudan, Nam Guk-hwan, said there was fear, but the embassy was able to rescue the South Koreans while defending itself, the last remaining refugee for the expats. The UN Secretary General has dispatched Martin Griffiths, the Emergency Relief Coordinator, to the region to explore how to bring immediate relief to millions of people whose lives have been turned upside down by the ongoing fighting in Sudan. The World Food Programme is lifting the temporary suspension of operations, and distribution of food is expected to commence in the states of Gujarat, Jazeera, Kassala, and White Nile in the coming days. The suspension of operations was put in place after the tragic deaths of three WFP team members on April 15th. The World Health Organization has distributed fuel to some hospitals in Sudan and is working to offload 6 containers of medical supplies. The UN Population Fund is supporting partners on the ground with life-saving healthcare and supplies for safe births. The UN Refugee Agency is planning for over 800,000 people who may flee fighting in Sudan to the 7 neighboring countries. The Secretary General appointed Clementine Nicueta Salami of Cameroon as his Deputy Special Representative for the UN mission in Sudan, UNITAMS, and she will also serve as the UN Resident Coordinator and Humanitarian Coordinator in the country. She has 30 years of experience in humanitarian affairs and protection, mainly in the field. Indonesian Foreign Ministry's Protocol and Consular Affairs Director General Andi Rahmianto says the transfer from Khartoum to Sudan will be temporary until the conflict recedes and Khartoum is deemed safe. The ministry also says that Indonesia ambassador to Sudan, Sunarko, as well as several Indonesian diplomats and local diplomat staff are still staying in Sudan. They still work as usual and have no plan for evacuation any sooner as yet. The Foreign Ministry is working with the Indonesian military and other ministries as well as state institutions for the evacuation process. As of Monday, the government evacuated 930 Indonesian citizens to several safe spots in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, and the border between Sudan and Egypt. The conflict in Sudan has forced at least 14 countries to evacuate their citizens and diplomatic staff.
Indonesian Air Force Chief of Staff Air Chief Marshal Fajar Prasetyo praised the involvement of the Indonesian military or TNI team in the recent evacuation of Indonesian citizens from the conflict-torn North African country of Sudan. Indonesian Air Chief of Staff Air Chief Marshal Fajar Prasetyo conveyed the statement from TNI Chief Admiral Yudo Margono, which appreciates the evacuation of the Indonesian citizens from Sudan. Fajar said the team's mission is evidence of the state's presence to help its citizens in various regions, including in the conflict-torn Sudan. He lauds the troops involved in the evacuation team for the mission's success and went on to remind all the troops to always be ready in carrying out the tasks given upon them.
Hopefully, the chaos in Sudan will find a way to end soon. Now, artificial intelligence, with all pros and cons, are currently surrounding the society. Let's be wise and use advanced technology for a better world. We have a story on artificial intelligence, or AI, in South Korea, where AI are being used to help people with disabilities find jobs. Interesting, right? That and other stories from Vietnam, Bangkok, and
makes it possible for persons with disabilities to get work in South Korea. An announcement is heard as a passenger hopes on a cab driver is hearing impaired. Please use the tablet to speak to him. The passenger's request is communicated to the driver. The destination can be changed easily as well. They have no problem driving now that they can easily communicate with the passengers by utilizing artificial intelligence. Lee Hyung-soo, hearing impaired taxi driver, said that he heard about this company where he can be hired to work. He rushed in soon after hearing the good news. This is a visual assistance application that senses objects and communicates the details to the user. There are 12 sentences, providing summary is a hinge. The app also remembers people's faces, connects them to their names, and provides them to the user. When artificial intelligence is added to a device that was once only able to describe objects, the device was turned into a sophisticated technology with task assistance capability. Farmers are no strangers to the application of artificial intelligence in agriculture. New technology has helped farmers and cooperatives analyze, monitor, and predict the impact of various environmental factors on crop quality. This has helped to the development of suitable production solutions for minimizing risk and improving crop productivity. The smart weather station system has been installed for more than 3 years. This allows them to fertilize and irrigate more than 20 hectares of vegetables at Chukson cooperatives in Chiang Mai District, Hanoi. Detailed information about rain time, intensity, and humidity is all updated through the application, which is accessed via mobile phone. The system can be used for at least 5 years, reduces pests and diseases, and ensures the correct amount of water is used for irrigation. Although the initial cost is high, the price of vegetables and fruits can reach up to 3 times higher than those grown under normal conditions. Chat HT, developing a large database of traceable growing area codes and chain data, is the goal of Hanoi's agricultural industry. It is expected that by the end of 2025, the city will be able to deploy at least 20% of the cooperatives and businesses in the area. Nguyen Man Phuong, Deputy Director, Hanoi Department of Agriculture and Rural Development. In the coming period, the department will find more sources of support along with opening many training classes to first gain a deep understanding for all farmers, and then the expansion investment will be effective. Yan in southwest China's Sichuan province, where the giant panda was scientifically discovered, has ramped up development of panda-themed tourism and has received overwhelming response from global tourists. In Longchanggo town, a panda-themed immersive experience park, Momo Planet, named after the panda's ancient appellation of Mo, was established to attract tourists. The facility covers an area of over 1 hectare, featuring exhibition center, museum, and immersive and interactive experience halls. Meanwhile, Longchanggu town that houses the park also ramped up panda-themed tourism, with panda elements infiltrated in almost all business premises, from cafes, restaurants to homestays and boutiques. The idea of team tourism has attracted tourists coming in endless streams from across the country. In the first quarter, Longchanggo town received more than 150,000 tourists, with tourism revenue up by 200% compared with the same period last year to 12.68 million yuan, or about 1.83 million US dollars.
We hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Your World. I'm Dia Fadila. Thanks for watching and see you next week.